Hey guys, welcome back for another week of Work It Out Wednesdays. On Wednesdays we work out practice questions, typically on the content that we have covered for the week. This week we have been covering osteoporosis versus osteopenia. So I have a couple of practice questions to test your knowledge on these, okay? So let's take a moment and get into the content. All right, the first question states Miss Knox is diagnosed with osteoporosis and the nurse practitioner started her on Fosamax. What instructions should the nurse practitioner give? A, be sure to take at bedtime. B, take on an empty stomach and do not lie down for 30 minutes. C, take with a meal. Or D, take as needed for weakness. All right, I'll give you a few to answer the questions. Tell me what you think in the comments. All right, as always, I tell you guys to read the stem of the question first so that you can make sure that you are answering what they are truly asking you. We commonly can read a question. Some things are longer with larger scenarios than others, and we find ourselves creating what we think the question may be asking, and we select the wrong answer. So take your time, slow down, read the stem so that you can make sure you are answering what they are asking of you. So here, the nurse practitioner is providing instructions, so they want to make sure they are providing the correct instructions. So in order to do that, you got to understand what we're even providing instructions on, right? So the patient has been diagnosed with osteoporosis. She's been started on Fosamax. So what instructions should be given with this? Do you want to tell them to take it at bedtime? No, we can cancel that out. B, do you want to take it on an empty stomach and tell them not to lie down for 30 minutes? Yeah, that's correct, right? Because Fosamax is a what? It's a bisphosphonate. And bisphosphonates, is that drug class that we're telling you to take this on an empty stomach. Don't lie down for 30 minutes, making sure that you take with a full glass of water because of the risk factor of it potentially causing esophageal erosion. So you don't want them to lie flat because thinking of like GERD, if there's any reflux, it can erode that esophagus. So key thing you want to tell people with those bisphosphonates is that. And for more information, just look at the video from yesterday for topics and tips where we went over that. But just remember those tips for that drug class, okay? Question 2. A nurse practitioner is reviewing the patient's DEXA scan results, and the T score is negative 2.2. Based on these results, how should the nurse practitioner diagnose? A, osteoporosis. B, this is a normal result. C, osteopenia. Or D, there's an error and we need to repeat the test. I'll give you a few to test your knowledge. Put your answer in the question in the comment and let's see how you do on this question. All right, so the stem of the question states, based on these results, how should the nurse practitioner diagnose? All right, so we're still going off our osteoporosis, osteopenia rotation of content, right? And so we're looking at T scores. So just put this in that perfect world. The T score is a negative 2.2. How would you diagnose this patient? Is it A, osteoporosis? B, would you say it's a normal test result? C, osteopenia? Or D, error? You need to repeat the test. And we know we can eliminate D, right? Because it's not an error. We don't need to repeat it. T scores can seem a little confusing, but it's correct. So a negative 2.2 would make this osteopenia, correct? Because remembering that with the osteopenia, that T score is going to be anywhere from that negative 1 to negative 2.4 range, right? Because osteoporosis is considered negative 2.5 and less, right? So it wouldn't be osteoporosis yet. It's osteopenia, right? And we know it's not a normal test result because that normal range is in that a score of like a um one scale, right? So we can eliminate those. So the best answer you should have selected is osteopenia, C. Again, slow that down. T scores for the diagnosis of osteopenia is a negative 1 to a negative 2.4. And osteoporosis is anything that's negative 2.5 or less. And a lot of people get confused when we look at numbers and think of that, because when you get into negative, some people mix it up. But remember, it's less than that, 2.5 or less, because the larger the number gets when you're just looking at the actual number, is actually giving that indication of how much lower that bone density is. Okay. So I hope you found this helpful. Go check out the video from yesterday for topics and tips where I really get into this information so that you can study it, write write it down, review it, so you can have that repetitively into your mind, so that as you're studying, form a scratch sheet if you need to. If that T-score is something that you need to write down for your scratch sheet, do that to help with your studying. And if you're not familiar with scratch sheets, I'll add that into the description so you can see that video when I talk about that. But that's very helpful for boards as well, because they provide you with that scratch sheet. So if you practice the scratch sheet now, when you get on boards, it's very helpful as a reference point to look back to when you are getting anxious, flustered, or your mind slips because you're in crunch time, right? But anyway, as always, thank y'all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share with anybody that you feel may find this helpful. But be sure to meet me back here tomorrow. We will have a soap note on this content, so we'll work through this as from a patient perspective, presenting and how you should document in that format, but also applying it in the format as I tell you to study for the assessment, diagnosis, and evaluation and treatment. So meet me back here. You don't want to miss that either. But as always, meet me back here next week for more Work It Out Wednesday practice questions. Bye, y'all.